Let's dive right in, boys. You ready for this? Let's go. Cool, dudes. Welcome on in, everybody. I'm your host, Drew Taylor. This is Ockey Budz, episode 147. What's going on? Dude, sorry it's been so long, another week. I'm kind of behind again. So hopefully I can get this following episode out faster. But today we're going to be breaking down week 5 of our season. And, man, I'm struggling. Well, not this week, but last week I was struggling, losing 3 in a row. So, Jeez, betting breakdown, diving right back in. First of all, thanks everybody for tuning in on the YouTubes. Hope you're enjoying the video of my ugly mug. Got the hoodie on because it's actually rainy this weekend in in Phoenix, in Tempe. So I'm a little chilly because it's not 110 degrees. Anything under 110, I get cold. That's how I am in Phoenix. But we're going to do a little betting breakdown. We're going to dive into the week that was, the week that is, the awards, some surprises, some battles, some bashes, some teams in the NHL that are hot, some injuries, some freak-off accidents. It's just all of the above. Great stuff. It's going to be fun, except for this opening segment. My betting breakdown, man. I'm down from bad to worse. And I can't get enough of the sauce, guys. They keep diving in. Shots on goals are missing. Overs aren't hitting. Puck lines aren't hitting. NFL bets aren't hitting. Guys aren't throwing touchdown passes. Guys aren't throwing enough yards. People aren't covering. People are covering, but then one parlay's leg is fucking up. I'm fucking up. I'm fucking it all up. And it is fun, but at the same time... Well, I want to win, but I might have to throw in the towel this year and come back next year. I keep saying that, but no, now I really mean it. If this weekend doesn't go well, like literally as we speak, if things don't go well this weekend, I am done until next season. It's so bad. And I laugh. I'm literally, it makes me laugh so hard. I'm like, fuck, dude, how could I be this bad at betting? But I am. And next year, I'll take up some feedback from you guys. And like I said, if any commission comes in from my work, you bet there's a budget set aside for this bullshit. So betting sucks. And I learned my lesson. I won't be betting on everything in the future. Thanks to JC for that life fulfilling lesson. Don't bet on everything. Just bet on something. I think that's what he said. Don't bet on everything. That's what I do. I was under the weather last week. So it does feel good to feel good again. I thought it was allergies. It wasn't. Just a little bit of a cold. And now I'm down to sucking down coffee again, feeling hype. Paycor. Feeling hyped. It's the holiday season. Best time of year for most of us. For some of you guys, I know it's a busy time of year for work, but it's a good time of year, man. We got football. We got great baseball. Or we did have great baseball. There's hockey all day long today. Great college football. College football is right around the corner. Playoff NFL football is right around the corner. So this is an exciting time to be alive in this year. So, okay, yeah. So my folks were in town last week. That was exciting to hang out with them. Good to see them. Good to have the parents. But we had boots on the ground at a couple of games. JC and Evan, I hope they crushed Vegas. I haven't listened to the Triple GFL episode yet, but I'm going to go listen. So hopefully you guys did well. At least came across even or something like that. I got to go tune in. So shame on me for not listening yet, JC. Last episode, I talked a lot about the Ducks. They stay hot. Look at them go. Let's take a look at the standings in the NHL right now. Burp. NHL. When I sent that to the group a couple of days ago, it looked like in the Pacific Division, all California teams are running it. So, I'm going to that. Pacific. Yeah, Anaheim Ducks number 1, Kings number 2, and the Sharks have dropped a little bit as well. But everybody's in the hunt, which is great to see. It would be awesome if all 3 California teams got into the playoffs somehow, some way. So, and Celebrini is looking like a fucking wizard. All of those young kids on the Ducks look like geniuses. The Kings are starting to figure it out. In our last we're on a 3-game win streak. The Kings, in our last 10, we're 6-2-2. Our away record is way better than our home record this year. We're 8-1-2 on the road and only 1-4-2 at home. So it looks like people are partying in Hollywood too much when they're at home. But last year it was different. It was the complete opposite. We crushed it last year, the Kings at home, and couldn't win on the road. So hopefully we figure it out at home. I'd rather have this worry than figuring it out on the road. So I think we'll figure it out at home. We'll be okay. Kings are going to be a playoff team. They're under the radar, but the surprise of the season is by far the Ducks. I think everybody thought they were going to be pretty good, and going to be good in a couple of years like the Sharks, but nobody thought they were going to be just fucking lighting the lamp like they are right now. So I'm here for it. I'm here to see it, especially if the Golden Knights get snubbed. That'd be fucking hilarious. So I'm pulling for the Sharks just to like do as best they can and watch the Knights get beaten up, because the Knights have never really struggled. So go Ducks. Good job, guys. A lot of our league are Ducks fans. A couple of the guys are Sharks fans. A lot of Kings fans. Go Kings, go Ducks, go Sharks. This is the California Hockey Podcast for sure. Somehow I have the top 3 goalies in the league. I picked up Wedgwood right before the beginning of the season, or maybe that first week, and I drafted Knight knowing he'd have to be the number 1 guy, and he's a little young and in Chicago, so they drafted him to be that person that turns this franchise around as they grow with Bedard. They're gonna grow with Knight. And then I drafted Montembeault, dropped him. That was a waste. But I did not expect the Ducks and Dostal. I knew the Ducks were going to be better than expected, so they were going to ride Dostal with Gibson out of town. But I had no idea that they would be the top 3 goalies in the league right now at this point. So through 5 weeks, that's not bad. But I'm still on a 3-week losing streak, so that shows you how important goalies are. But hey. Let's see if people like Ottinger and Shesterkin and Hellebuck can catch up to these boys, especially if Wedgwood ends up splitting time with Blackwood more often. But got the top 3 goalies in the league. I'm happy about it. Just can't get a fucking W. I might this week though, Joe. Dylan Habing. What do I have to say about Dylan Habing? This guy knows everything. He knew about Trocheck. It really pisses me off. He knew all about Trocheck, and he never told JC. This is what I love most about the league, right? You could take one throwaway text message from John Carpenter, and you could turn it into a year-long bit that is going to grab legs. And I was thinking, like, who's the one fucking idiot I can put out there out of this league? Because we're all idiots. We're all fucking idiots. Who's the one guy I can throw out there that's just going to grab this bit and run with it? And it was Habing. And I texted him, and he was like, it's not a bit. I know everything. He's like, it's not a bit. I know everything. What the fuck? JC, who knew? This is the way JC meant his text message that started this whole thing. This is the tone he meant that text message. Who knew Trocheck was the missing piece for the Rangers? Right? That's what he meant. Who knew it? Who knew Trocheck was the missing piece for the Rangers? But here's the way I interpreted it, and this is what made me start texting. This is the way I read it, JC. This is how things get lost in text messages. I read it as, who knew Trocheck was the missing piece for the Rangers? And I was like, Habing knew. Habing fucking knew. We're gonna find out. We're gonna get to the bottom of this, and then I quickly discovered Habing knew. So I went from who knew to who knew that Trocheck was the missing piece for the Rangers and didn't fucking tell me. Because the Rangers look good right now. Now the Rangers look good. They're scoring goals. Panarin and Trocheck are getting like 3 points a game right now. JC's on an all-time tear, fighting for the Top Gun award this week 6. Remember, we're talking about week 5 this week, but next episode we'll be probably shouting out JC unless he falls on his face these last 2 days. But who knew? Huh? Which one of you fucking cunts knew that Trocheck was the missing piece for the Rangers and had the audacity not to tell JC? It was Habing. Fucking Charizard. Holographic Charizard loving Habing. We had lots of upsets and comebacks and matchups last week that were worth diving into. So let's dive into that. After all these jokes are aside, we're 10 minutes into the pod. We usually do it about 30 minutes long. We had Raymond versus Cockney, East Coast versus Rest Home, not Resting Home, Larpins versus Russia, close matchups, big upsets, big comebacks, big time week 5. But funny face of the week. We're gonna go back. I don't know if you guys remember. I've made fun of this guy's team a couple of times now. We're gonna fly back to Moscow, back to St. Petersburg. We're going to Russia, and if we're looking at Russia, we're gonna go to their goaltending, and we've got nothing better than this KBG fucking loving, vodka drinking, stray dog shooting, cold weather slaving, Igor Shesterkin me around, Team ET. Well, the ET's like second round draft pick, Igor Shesterkin. This one's different. Usually I'm like making fun of their smile, making fun of their hair, and making fun of them, right? But if you go through, like, if you go to Evan's team, I'll just go there, guys, while you're listening or in a second, but like go there and like look through all the guys on his team. They all like have smiles on their face. They all look very happy, but this one's different. It's not so much a silly face, but just a deeply concerned look coming from Igor, right? So you look at Igor, and he just his eyebrows, the way his eyebrows are. Everybody looks like either like this or they're just like, but Shesterkin looks like kind of like. So people usually are like, or they're like, but Igor's like, that's Igor. He just looks like really concerned about something, right? Look at everybody else, Bouchard included. Remember Bouchard? We talked about disheveled Bouchard. Disheveled Bouchard looks like he's fucking drunk, but they just look all serious or happy. And then here's Igor. Just looks like he's just worried about your well-being, right? He just wants. Are you okay? That's Igor Shesterkin. Hey, you doing okay, man? That's Igor. What shit. All right, week number 5. Oh man. All right, I get donkey punched by Curse Breakers. I give the Curse Breakers their first win of the week this season. Nice to a gunfight, dukes it out with the Chippendales. Everybody loves Raymond. Now, everybody doesn't love Raymond, apparently. He gets beat by Joe. Big W for Joe. Dollar Skrill continues to show his power over JC. Wilga sneaking in a W over Chanel East Coast. Croto's not here for it. He's not happy about that. He's got a good team, and he gets beat by Wilga. Poor Russia. Dilly maintains his dominance he's 5-0. So that's the quick snapshot. Let's dive into it. I get my ass kicked. Right? Curse Breakers just fucking laying a whooping on me. Congrats on your first win of the season, Big D. That's a huge win. Hey, but you already knew you were going to win, dude, because he knew it. He knew it all along. And I'll tell you this much. He knew it all along. Talking about the losing team first, I go right back to my top goalie performance. 62 points coming from my goaltending. I'm having a lot of points coming from my goaltending. I'm stoked. I'm really stoked. And I only had one shutout. So, I think I can even do better, which is fucking crazy to say, but we'll see. Then my scores kind of fall on their face. Evander Kane led my team with 18 points. That was it. So that's really where I fell short. Wasn't in the goalies. And then talking about the winning team, 50 points coming from D. Habe's goalies. That's great. 50 points is good. It's real good. Real fucking good. But then he got 170 points coming from his scoring. So 50 points coming from Nikolai Ehlers. Burkowski getting 25 points. They actually had 24.8 apiece. Seth Jarvis, those 23 points. Connor McCuckme, 23 points. So Ehlers, Burkowski, Jarvis, McDavid looking fantastic for this guy. He finally gets a win in the win column, and he's happy about it. So congrats, Big D. This is over. I mean, like, by Tuesday, I was down by 30, and I never sniffed it. I never came back at all. He kicked my ass on Saturday, too, beat me by 40 more points. So I ended up losing by 50 points. got my butt kicked. So congrats, Habing. You just were the better opponent, and we're moving on to the next one. Knives to a gunfight. This was a battle. This was definitely a battle. 226 Knives to 200 Chippendales. Anybody could have won this one, and Knives to a gunfight decided to be the better. They were 2-2. Now Knives is 3-2. Chippendales 2-3. So Knives to a gunfight jumped out to an early start. He keeps getting 30 points, 30 points, 30 points, 50 points. Then he falls to 8, but then he gets 30, and then he gets 30. So out of the 7 days they matched up, only one of them did Knives to a gunfight have less than 30. Every other day he averaged 30, one day 50. So he just crushed it all week long. And Chippendales tried to maintain pace, tried to make a big pushback on Saturday. Couldn't do it, couldn't mount it, and then they just went toe-to-toe on Sunday, and Knives to a gunfight gets the W. Talking about the losing team, the big losing team first. Big loser, so big, humongous big. 36 points coming from the big loser, Big Nate. 36 points coming from his goaltending. He got 33 points coming from Mikko Rantanen, Brad Marchand, 25 points, Sebastian Aho, 25 points, and then Svechnikov, 22 points, and Morgan Riley with an even 20, right? If you get 18 or above, I'm probably going to shout you out, and that was a good one. So Mikko Rantanen, Marchand, Aho, Svechnikov trying to do their best, but they were bested by a better team and Knives to a gunfight. Knives to a gunfight, only 29 points coming from your goaltending, so it could be better, but almost 200 points coming from his scoring. So we had Austin Matthews with 26 points, who looking like he is on the injured reserve now, so he won't be back for a week or so. So that kind of sucks for this team, but last week, Knives to a gunfight was led by Matthews with 26, Johansson with 20, Knives had 21, Corey Perry, 20 points, and everybody else really chipped in. A lot of guys getting 10, 15 points on this team, but he only had 4 above the 20-point mark. So good win, Knives to a gunfight. Congratulations. Cuck me if you can. Here was a close one. Everybody loves Raymond. Not everybody. Joe doesn't love Raymond. 219 to 211. Everybody loves Raymond gets beat. And the thing was, everybody loves Raymond jumped out to a good start. On Tuesday, it was all lost by Joe. Joe came back, and then Joe just kept pushing. He kept pushing. And then on Saturday, he really pushed. So Joe did a good job getting out to a big lead, and then Tyler tried to mount a comeback on Sunday, and he couldn't do it. Tyler scores almost 50 points on Sunday, but Joe scored about 33, which is enough to hold him off. So big win by Cuck Me if you can. Looking like a decent team here. Let's talk about the losing team first. That's going to be 35 points coming from Tyler Parsons' goaltending and 175 points coming from his scoring. Here's a big shout out. Connor Bedard, 43 points. A lot of points coming from Connor Bedard. 43 points coming from Bedardi. Matt Boldy, 23 points coming from Boldy. Brock Bessie, 20 points coming from Bessie. So 3 guys above 20 points for Tyler, with Connor Bedard having enough for 2 people. 43 points. That was massive. Cuck Me if you can, though, gets a cucking win. Only 13 points coming from his goaltending, but it doesn't matter when you have this many good scoring people. Leo, steal my mom's car, driving my sister's car, Carlson. Leo Carlson, 54 points. 54 points coming from this dingus, dude. This fucking eyebrow-cutting dingus. Ugh. 54 points. 26 points coming from Brendan Hagel. Kucherov, the Tampa Bay duo, looking good for this guy. Kucherov with 22 points. Marchenko, 20 points. Leo Carlson, John Carlson, 20 points. Leo Carlson, 54 points. That is 5 players above 20 points, with one of the guys getting enough for 2 people as well. That's a huge amount of points for Leo Carlson, dude. Holy shit. I don't think you can sustain that every week. But when you get somebody that scores 50 points, hopefully you're going to get the W. And poor Tyler was just matched up against the wrong person, because Parsons had a lot of points coming from Bedard. So nice win, Cuck Me if you can. We're going to jump over to Chanel East Coast versus Silver Acres Rest Home. This was a heartbreak. This is a tough one. I love Croto's text message like, hey, you guys all talk shit on Wilga until you lose by 1 point to him, huh? Talk all that smack until you lose by 1 point to Silver Acres Rest Home, not Resting Home. And we'll look at it. I mean, like, Silver Acres jumps out to a good start. I mean, Kelly's making moves this season. That's what we're saying. He's made like 10 moves this season. Like, what is he doing? Is he asleep at the wheel? I think not. Dude. Silver Acres Rest Home averages about 20 points every day. Has a big day on Saturday, but it was matched by Chanel East Coast. And then Chanel East Coast tried to make a final push on Sunday, but it was just not enough to get it done. Kelly only uses 2 of his matchup acquisitions out of the 3. Chanel East Coast uses all 3, trying to do their best. So let's talk about the losing team. Not only 27 points coming from his goaltending. Not bad, not terrible. 141 points coming from his skaters. 26 points from Barbashev. Konechny had 23 points, and Sidney Crosby had about 20 points as well. I mean, what are you gonna do? That's just a piss poor effort from the team overall. Neither of these teams broke 170. They would have got beat by a lot of other people. So Chanel East Coast, you couldn't get the W, and it's a good thing you weren't matched up against some of these other competitors because it wouldn't have been that close either way. Only 13 points coming from Kelly's goaltending. Interesting. With Hellebuck and I think Demko's hurt again. Fucking Demko, dude. Always fucking hurt. It's ridiculous. 13 points coming from Kelly's goaltending, and 153 points coming from 56 points coming from his scoring. Big shout out to Celebrini, right? Macklin Celebrini, 31 points. Jacob Truba finding some offense in Anaheim, 22 points. Philip Forsberg, who's over in Sweden right now, 22 points coming from him. So 3 guys over 20 points for Will. That gets him the W. We're moving on. Russia versus Dylan Larpins. This was another close battle, and Larpins had to really pull out all the stops on Sunday to get this one done. Larpins ends up winning by about 12 points, but it was a lot closer than it looks. Even though 12 is pretty close, it was a lot closer than 12 points. And it all, like, literally all came down. I mean, Evan, this is the comeback I'm talking about. A lot of upsets, like Wilga last matchup, and then this one was a comeback. Evan had a pretty good lead. He had a pretty good lead going into the weekend, and then Larpins lays a whooping on him Saturday. Evan just kind of falls flat on Saturday, and Larpins gets about 50 points on Sunday as well. So over the weekend, Larpins basically scored about an extra 100 points to push him past Evan. Poor Evan, 1-4. I thought this team is going to have a better start to the season, and Evan's trying to figure it out right now. If there's anybody who can figure it out, it's Habing and Evan, because Habing knows everything. Guy knows everything. But 5-0 again in this league, and fucking with these competitors. Shit, Dilly, that's a really good start. Congrats to you, man. Congrats to you. Let's dive into it. ET Team Russia. May have to change your name to Team Czechoslovakia with how bad you're playing, dude. 8 points coming from your goaltending. 27 points coming from Tom Wilson. John Tavares, 26 points. Chris Kreider, welcome back, Kreider. A lot of ducks on this list. 26 points coming from Chris Kreider. 3 guys over 20 points for Evan. That's not going to be enough to get it done because we've got some firepower on this fucking Larpins team. This team was getting pulled by just a couple of guys, and we're going to dive into it. Not a damn thing coming from his goaltending. Fun fact about Larpins, Dilly has the least amount of goalie wins in the league by far. I think he's got like 3 less than the next guy. Dilly gives a fuck all about goaltending right now because it's all coming from a few players, and it's sustainable when somebody like Nathan McKinnon is in your lineup. McKinnon, the dog, is beating up everybody. 44 points coming from McKinnon. That's enough for 2 players. Cutter Gauthier, fucking another Anaheim Duck on this list. 41 points coming from him. That's enough for 2 players. 20 points coming from Brian Rust, knocking off that Rust, and another basically 20 or so coming from Noah Dawson. So this team was really pulled up by about 3 guys. I mean, mainly just 2, Cutter and Nathan. So there you go. There you have it. Dylan Larpins with a massive win. All right, on to the final one. That's it. This is a big shootout versus the 1-800 Ramblers, and then Dolla Dolla Skrill, who, like I mentioned, I think Dolla Dolla Skrill has the best team, along with Everybody Loves Raymond. Unless, I mean, I think I keep jinxing Raymond, but Dolla Dolla Skrill had a massive week, a massive fucking week. And JC tried to keep pace, right? JC starts out with like a 24-point lead on Monday. He's feeling good. They both match each other with like a 45 to 50 point day on Tuesday. JC's still feeling good. He's up by 20 points. And then comes Wednesday. JC gives a little bit more, but they both duke it out to around 30 points, right? Then comes Thursday. JC and him duke it out again, but Crawl's just chipping it back. He's just chipping it back from that big Monday deficit. And then comes Friday. They're basically even at like 24 points apiece. And then comes Saturday. And that's when JC fell, just like ET. They both were in Vegas together. Their fantasy hockey teams weren't doing jack all shit while they were watching college football. I'll tell you that much. Evan and JC were loving college football while nothing was happening on the ice for them Saturday. I think together they didn't get over 45 points. And Dave Krall ended up getting 61 points on Saturday. So Krall got more points than both Evan and JC. So that's really where the separation happened. And at that point, there was no coming back for JC because they both had a really good Sunday, but Dave Krall just laid a whooping to him all around. Sorry, JC, you would have beat basically every other person in the league, except for the one you were matched up against. And that is a tough spot to be in. It is. It really is. You're like, dude, it's a tough loss. It's an L. All it is an L on the score sheet. But it's a bitter L because you look around, you're like, well, fuck you, Wilga. You win by 1 point. I would have smoked your ass. You're like, oh, fuck you, Curse Breakers. You get your first win. I would have beat you by like 9 points. Like, fuck you guys. Oh, fuck you, Dylan or Dilly. Dilly, you get your 5-0 win. I would have beat you by like 50 points, but I lose. So I know what you're saying, JC. On the other end, Dolla Dolla Skrill, I think he's on a 3-week heater now, and this team is just rising to the top. So let's take a look at it. The 1-800 Ramblers, 35 points coming from his goaltending. Darcy Kemper with over 20 points, to almost 22. That's pretty big. And then a lot of points coming from William Nylander. 40 points coming from Nylander. That's enough for 2 players. Bo Horvat, who's actually surprisingly one of the best waiver wire pickups this season. Horvat's in the top 10 scorers in the league. JC picked him up October 22nd, and he's just been a rocket ship since. So 28 points coming from Bo Horvat. Will Smith slapping the piss out of people. Actually, not that bad. Will Smith is just being a little bitch, like he is. 16 points coming from Will Smith. So really, JC just had a lot of scoring coming from 2 guys. Almost 70 points coming from 2 players, which is huge. 3 guys over 20, one including a goalie. A lot of goaltending coming from Krall's team. Get off me. He's back, and he's back in effect. 53 points coming from Krall's goaltending, 209 coming from his skaters. It's going to be 46 points coming from Tyler Bertuzzi, right? That's enough for 2 players. Wyatt Johnson, 39 points. That's enough for 2 players. Miro Hirschkinen, 35 points coming from Miro. Kirill Kaprizov, 30 points coming from Kirill. And then Kel McCarr had 20 points as well. But that is 4 players for Dave Krall. 4 players for Dave Krall with over 30 points. That's fantastic, bud. Well done. Well done. So that's the week that was. I know I'm rattling it off. Let's get into some awards, and then we'll get out of here. Your Trojan Condom top performer of the week, Leo Carlson. Cuck me if you can. 50 points, 54 points coming from Leo Carlson. We talked about it a lot early. A lot of people scoring a lot of goals. I think we're about to see a lot more goals being scored in this league here as the season ramps up. But Leo Carlson, 54 points. Great job. Your Tampax little bitch. Couldn't really figure out this one. It was kind of tough. So I'm going to give it to, because it was a tough loss, I'm going to give it to Chanel East Coast, right? I like to kick them when they're down. Kind of with this award, you got to kick somebody when they're down. If you lose by 1 point, you're probably going to have a little bitch on your team that didn't help you win, right? If you lose by 1 point, you're probably going to have a little bitch on your team that didn't help you win. It's a fact, right? Put that on my headstone. If you lose by 1 point, you're probably going to have a little bitch on your team that you're pissed at. So Tampak's little bitch goes to Chanel East Coast. He had the whole team. He had 6 players with 1 point or less. A collective L for this group. 6 players with less than 1 point, 1 point or less. Like, do anything. Do anything. Get high stick somebody, right? Get in the box. Just help me get this win. Damn, Chanel. All right, smooth move of the week. This is the surprise of the week for me. I never, ever give this award out to this person. They never deserve it. And this year they really deserved it. Kelly Wilga. Wow. Kelly fucking Wilga picks up Kurashev. Kurashev gets 5 points for him. And Holloway. Holloway, even though he only got 1 point, he needed all of that 1 point. Or 0.1 of that 1 point. Actually, he only needed 10% of that 1 point to still get the win. But Kelly Wilga wins by 1 point. Both these pickups were a Monday pickup. They were the only pickups Wilga did all week. And congratulations, Wilga. You picked somebody Monday. You waited all along. Did you call Habing? Because Habing already knew it. He knew it all along. Maybe he did. I don't know. Your Tom Cruise Top Gun. Tom Cruise Top Gun goes in no other than Dolla Dolla Skrill, y'all. And this is funny because I texted Joe Ford. And I said, hey, congratulations. I don't usually do this. I texted Joe Ford. I said, congratulations, on you and Leo Carlson for winning the Week 5 Tampak or Trojan Condom Top Performer of the Week. Congratulations. And then he goes, I don't accept. I don't want this award. Give it to somebody else. And I was like, are you sure? It comes with a pretty big, or I think he says, like, how much money do I get? That's what he says. And I was like, 100 million. And then I texted him real quick. I was like, oh, wait, 100 billion? My bad. And he goes, sorry, that's not enough money. And I'm like, oh, that's not enough. He's like, give it to somebody else. That's not enough money. And I'm like, Joe, I just want to make sure you know. Sorry, my phone's dying. I want to make sure you know what you're doing here. If you don't accept this award and this cash, $100 billion, if you don't accept this $100 billion, I'm gonna have to put Dave Kroll on this award sheet twice this week. And he said, oh, fuck, I accept. I actually would pay $100 million, $100 billion, just so that Dave Kroll wasn't on this sheet twice. So, quick turn of events. And that's fun when you get somebody just randomly chiming in like that. So, great job, Joe. But also, great job to Dave Kroll. Dave Kroll gets 260-something points from his team. Dolla Dolla Kill, y'all. Killing us all. He's on a 3-week heater. One of the best teams in the league. Watch him get a bisexual. That's what I'm guessing. Your Pampers Poopy Performance of the Week, that's going to go to Russia. It still almost went to Wilga. Wilga gets a win, and he still almost got the Poopy Award. I want you guys to know that. Almost every time I mention this Poopy Award, it's 5 for 5, by the way, but every time I mention this Poopy Award, I'm mentioning Wilga because Wilga wins by 1, but if it wasn't for Evan and Chanel East Coast shitty performance, it would have gone to Wilga. So, Evan, I'm sorry that I have to give this award to you, but don't worry. You pick it up just a little bit, and it'll go right back to Wilga where it belongs. All right, guys. This week's almost done for week 6, so hopefully you'll see my face again. But I'm up by 100 points. I'm beating the piss out of Joe. I think I'm gonna get a win this week. I think that's enough cushion for me to feel confident. So I'm beating up Joe. Looks like Nice did. Both Ford brothers are getting their asses kicked. So Everybody Loves Raymond is bouncing back with another W. That's what I'm guessing. He's up by 60 points. Chippendales versus Dolla Dolla Skrill. Chippendales versus Dolla Dolla Skrill. They're duking it out. I got the Rambler up by 100 points over Chanel East Coast. Curse Breakers versus Russia. Curse Breakers are up by 20, and Evans trying his best. Both these teams are 1-4. Both these guys actually desperately need a win. And then I got Silver Acres rest homes over Dylan Larpin's. Larpin is losing by 30. Can Silver Acre Rest Homes knock off the 5-0 person? This is going to be a big upset. If Larpins can't turn it around, holy shit, Wilga's going to be 3-3, knocking off the #1 dog in the league. The more shit I talk, the better he gets. Go, Wilga, go. Psych. Poopy performance. I don't know. I don't know if Kelly's going to get the poopy this week, but we'll see. But love you all. My mom called me right before this episode ended. Usually I put my phone on airplane so I can just rip it for 30 minutes without worrying about it. And I had 1 minute left and my mom called me. So damn it, Vicky. All right. I love you guys. See you guys next time. Bye.